everyone. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. Today, me and Corica Williams, we just gonna have a conversation about life, specifically motherhood, what that looks like for us in the past as well as in its current state. Corker, is there anything you want to say before we begin to kind of add to what I just said about what we're going to talk about today?
Not really. I want everybody to know like the meaning behind this. Like we want women to know that they are not alone. Like not that we have it all figured out because we don't. Like we out here winging it just like everybody else. But we want women to know that they're not alone. Like you're not going through this alone. Like there's other people out here that's going through some of the same stuff that you're going through, and that's the goal. That's the goal.
Absolutely. And I think to piggyback off that, I just think that there is so much beauty in learning from other people and hearing their story. And I love learning about people and how they navigated certain situations because I believe that while our situations may be different, I can still be inspired by them. I can still take something that they did and apply it to my own life to make my situation better or just have another perspective on how to do things. And so that is certainly also one of the goals that we hope will come from this. We are going to have other women come on, talk about their journey as moms as well. And so this is just a beautiful collaboration between two women um, as mothers. So
That's it.
that is the goal. So um, I'll probably be asking a lot of questions, but like it's just me and Corka. So Corka, let's talk about motherhood for you first.
Okay.
Tell us about your two children, how old they are, and then kind of from your oldest to your youngest, where you are now.
My children are 15 and 6, and whole 9 years apart. Same mama, but they are two totally different children, day and night. Um, I think that I think it's kind of good. I don't know if I could do the children back to back. I think that the age gap is really, really beneficial to me. Because my 15-year-old can kind of not babysit, but he can keep an eye on my 6-year-old sometimes for me. So that's one of the benefits of the age gap. But being that they're so different, like, and it's no manual to being a mother. So a lot of times, you remember stuff that went on when you were a child, how your mom may have handled it, and you kind of try to apply it to your children, but a lot of times that does not always work. And for my children, it does not work. Well, one is because my children are very, very um emotional children. Not like they're very in touch with their emotions. For example, Rowan will say, why are you not smiling? You're not happy today, mom. What's wrong with you? And I say, Rowan, I am happy. I'm just not smiling. No, you're not. You're not happy because you're not smiling. I'm like, but they pay a whole lot of attention to me. So for me, that's a lot. Like because I have to manage my day to day emotions and the stuff that I'm going through in a way that it doesn't interfere with what they feel or what they have going on. And when you think about parenting, it's a lot like you're molding and shaping these beautiful little human beings into, someone that can go out and thrive in the world. So you have to, it's a lot like you have to kind of be mindful of that, when you're scolding them or, encouraging them. But it's definitely been a journey. Like I said, I was young when I had Corey Young. So Corey Young kind of grew up with me, like he seen me go through a lot, he seen me do a lot. He seen me, not seen me a lot because when I had him, I was still, going out and partying and stuff. And it's so funny, like I can think back to my mama sending me text messages like, "Where you at? You need to, you need to come and get this job." But like I said, he now it's totally different. Like with Rowan, like most of the time, if I'm not working, then he's with me. So it's really really different. It's been a journey, and we're just figuring it all out together, basically. Like I'm helping them, they're helping me.
Yeah, I feel like you talk about having Corey on young. I was a fresh 20 when I had Jordan. And so Jordan, and sometimes I don't even know if he knows the extent of how me having him young, I hate to say it was a good and a bad thing, right? But it's kind of one of those things where it's like I was young, I didn't know who I was, I didn't know where I was going,
Right.
definitely trying to be out, right? Um, and so he's grown with me too. And so
Mhm.
um I think I'm really thankful that while there are times where I wish I had maybe been in a better position when I had him, like
Mhm.
in every way,
Mhm.
like financially, right? Like I had to work 2
Mentally,
jobs multiple times.
yeah.
Um, I had to rely on my parents a lot for support. Me just wanting to be a young girl in her 20s, right? And like
Right,
having all that.
right.
Um, but I think that what I can really appreciate looking back is how he's been with me through it all. And there are no like obvious signs that like I missed the mark, right?
Yeah,
Not saying I got it perfect, right? But like there are no obvious signs, right? Or like him saying, well, like you were never there, or like you didn't do this.
yeah,
But I'm very happy that he's able to see me where I am now, where I'm still learning myself, but I have a much greater sense of
right.
who I am. And then Lennox gets to see me in a very different way, right?
Yeah,
Like Jordan, I knew God, but like God was not important to me,
right,
right?
right.
So like Jordan saw me kind of like rededicate, and like this is the life that Lennox will know, right? So sometimes I feel like me having him was it was a blessing for me because I think it helped keep me centered and grounded because even though it's like, well, I know I can go out Friday night, right? But I also know I got to be a mama, right? Like that part of my
Exactly.
life is not just over. So like I gotta still keep my head on straight
Right.
to mother this child. So Corica, let's dig a little bit deeper. You were, you had Corian, but you
Mhm,
ended up, you actually got the same day, but you
mhm,
ended up marrying him, right?
mhm, mhm,
And then within the past few years, that marriage ended. Um,
mhm.
how about navigating that season with your children? Because as a mom, even when we are going through tough times or we're hurting, whatever, right? We don't get to turn off being a
Right,
mom, but we don't get to put being a mom on pause while we figure out what the next season, phase, whatever is
right.
going to look like. So, how did you navigate that with your children? And I think what's so interesting about you going through that is because your children have an age gap, right? So like your
Mhm.
conversations with them also have, I would imagine, were very different, right? Because Corian is older, right? Whereas Rowan, he knows, but like his questions may have varied from what Corian may have asked or you guys had to talk about.
Yes. So, I was married in 2016. Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, so I was married in 2016. Rowan was born in 2017, and then we were divorced in 2021, early, yeah, like February of 2021. Um, so it was it was kind of different. like I said, Corian, Corian saw he saw a lot. He saw a lot between us, and Corian also spent a lot of time with my mama, even during during my marriage. He spent a lot of time with my mama. Because at times we had a lot going on. So when Rowan came along, Rowan saw his mom and dad together. That's what he knew. Hey, Laney, that's what he knew. Even at even at his young age, he sees his mom and his dad. And so when I had the conversation with Corey Young about the divorce, he was really it was not a difficult conversation to have because he was literally all for it. Like he was fine, good, that's good. I want you to I want you to be treated like a queen. Like that was his mentality. Like he had no issue whatsoever with it. When Rowan, on the other hand, still at the age of 6, he can't. I don't want to say he can't comprehend it, but he doesn't really understand it because even now we've been divorced for 2 years, and he still says, "Well, are you gonna marry my dad? Mom, do you love my dad?" Like he stuff like that, or he frequently brings his dad up into like he might say, "Is my dad the head of the house?" I'm like, he doesn't even live with us. How he gonna be the head of the house? So, but those conversations were very different and still difficult. It's still difficult because Rowan, he's surrounded by when he goes to school. They have stuff at school. He sees his other classmate mom and dad are there together. So, and he has came home and told me, why I want you and my dad to come. Like, why can't y'all be together? Why can't we be a family? Stuff like that. At the age of 6, he amazes me. He really does. But like I said, those are two conversations, very different conversations that I have to have because they're on like two different fields essentially. So it's still hard. Like it's still hard because you're coming from having two people together in a household where you can kind of balance out everything that's going on. I can go to work, or I get off early. You can fix dinner, or that type of stuff. And then to go from that to everything is on one person. I have to work. I have to go to school. I have to pick the kids up in school. I got to make sure they got something to eat when we get home. We got to do homework. We got to get them to bed on time, which is difficult to do when I get home at 6 o'clock. He has a bedtime at 8:30. We only have like 2 hours before time for us to get ready for the next day. So it's difficult with that. But I feel like everything is kind of a mindset. Like you have to kind of be kind of on top of it. Like this is how I want my day to go. You know what I'm saying? You have to wake up with that mentality in the morning time. Like we're gonna have a good day. Like this is gonna be a good day. You can't wake up and be like, oh man, like I hate like dragging. Like I don't want to do this. I don't want to face this day. Having to face the emotions of coming from a long-term relationship and still having to be a mother, like that was kind of difficult for me. And like I said, it growing makes it difficult even now because I still have to relive stuff. Like I have to go back and tell him, well, this can't happen, or we not gonna be together. But in that sense, it makes it difficult. But as far as my mindset and having to transition, like mentally, I had already like prepared myself, like because in the beginning, that's one of the things that I was fearful of before I even filed for a divorce. One of the things that I was fearful of is having to do everything by myself. So I had to kind of mentally prepare myself to, hey, this is gonna be a lot on you. And like I said, or like you said, you don't get a break being a mom. Like you have to fight through every emotion that you're feeling and still be able to take care of your children. So that's a lot. Like sometimes I think people try to not downplay it, like, but the backside of motherhood is so can be such a dark place. It can be such a dark place at times. And I think a lot of times people don't see that. They only see the front of the house. They only see you out, doing stuff. They see your kids dressed up. They don't know it took you a whole hour to get these kids together to get them out of the house. A lot of times people don't see that stuff, but the backside of motherhood is what needs to be it needs to have some light to it so people will know, yes, it's all glitz and glam when we get out in front of each other, but we go through some stuff behind closed doors. And fortunately, but unfortunately, even though it's been 2 years since my divorce, like we still have the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like we're still kind of figuring stuff out because, like I said, it's no handbook. We don't have a manual. Nothing to tell me what to do or what to say to them when certain stuff comes up. And I don't have the luxury of saying, "We'll go down the hall and tell your dad," or ask your dad to do it. So we're still kind of figuring stuff out, but but it's going. It's going. Everything is going.
Yeah. So even though you had prepared yourself, right, like for the transition, um, did you deal with any um guilt for ending the marriage, um, thinking about you on one hand, right, but also your children on the other hand, and then what just came to my mind too is, sometimes as women, we have in our mind, right, the type of life we want to live, what that looks like. Being married, we gonna do this. My life is gonna look like that. How did you navigate knowing that? And I'm gonna say choose you first, but I don't know if that's necessarily what you were thinking, right? But how did you
Mhm.
navigate having to choose you? And if I'm saying choose you wrong, correct me on that. But how did you navigate choosing you versus your children and then this family and this life that you had dreamed
Well,
about, always imagined having?
essentially, that's what you have to do because I'm not if I'm not happy, I'm not whole, I'm not at peace, I can't take care of my children the way that I need to. So and I did not I was never one of the girls um who dreamed of this fairy tale like love and marriage. Like it was just never something that that came up. It was just like whatever happens happens. But once I got into that, I think the comfort of it all, and being content with the situation, and then to think about dang, like we just got right. We just got into this. I just got us onto a schedule. Now we got to break this. Or now, I don't want my children to have to be, in a home without their mom and dad. Like I like that. Like I love marriage. I want my children to see two productive adults, working things out together. Like I wanted that for them. So that was kind of difficult for me too because I felt like I was hurting them at the same time. Like, can't you fight a little longer? Like just so they but if I'm not happy and I'm not whole, I'm not at peace, like I can't my children can't see me be productive, in a positive way. Like I can't work, to take care of them the way that I need to. I can't do that if I'm not where I need to be. So that was a lot of it too. Like I had to just kind of see the bigger picture. Like stop being scared of being alone and doing stuff by yourself when it's something bigger here. Yeah.
I'm so fascinated by you saying that, like you can kind of dream it because, like,
Oh,
uh, because like I just always be like, I'm gonna be mad, right? Like I just always, like wanted that life.
really?
Like even having Jordan Young, I'm like. okay, what's going on with the plan that I had in my head, right? This ain't how this supposed to be going. But I think like in my past, right? Like I had a really hard time putting myself first because I had already allowed my mind to go to 100. And
Hmm.
so even when I knew that I needed to let go, I was so far that I'm like, but we were going to do this, or like this was supposed to happen, right? And like it was so much stuff, right? And when I got out of it, and I got myself together, I was like, the next relationship again, I'm not planning nothing. I'm not going far. Like, I'm not envisioning. Like, I'm not going to allow myself to go far because while I'm not scared to like get in a relationship, like whatever happened to me, like it's going to happen, right? But I'm not going to guard myself so that I can't. But I'm like, I'm not going to go to the extreme, right? Because then if it's time to end it, I don't want to be so caught up in what I thought
Hmm.
it could have been, right?
Uh,
And now I'm
uh,
hanging on to what I think is supposed to be instead of doing what I know is ultimately the best thing. So that's interesting to me, but I think it's a plus, right? I think it definitely
yeah.
um, in your advantage. So as a single mom, again, how are you taking care of you? How are you maintaining your identity and still being the best mom to your kids?
Tracy, it's so funny that you asked that because I just told somebody the other day, like, I have become so consumed with being a mother and taking care of my kids, and now for the past couple of months I've been a caregiver to my grandma too. So I've become so consumed with all of that that I have not taken any time for myself. So I'm just getting to the point where I'm telling myself, you know what, you can't be you can't be everything to everybody and not be anything, to yourself. Like, you have to take time, take care of yourself. But this just happened like this year. This just happened this year because last year I was like, I'm about to do what I want to do. Like, I got to get, have some time for myself. But these past couple months, like, it just has not happened for me. Like, I've just been doing everything for everybody and I ain't took no time for myself. But that's about to change. And the good thing is I recognize that I'm not doing anything for myself. So I can change it. So I'm working on that. I'm working on that. But um after my divorce, one of the things that really got me was not being able or not spending enough time with my kids, or trying to balance spending time with my kids and still have, my identity as well, still have time for myself. And I had a lot of mom guilt for that. Like, I would feel so bad for wanting to, go and hang out with my friends or go out to eat with my friends. I would feel so bad. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing for all mothers or what, but it's needed. Like, because I've heard people say this and it really just started hitting me, like, when your kids are gone and out of the house, like, who are you gonna be? Like, what are you gonna do once they're out and they're living on their own with their own families, they have their own lives, then it's just you. I don't wanna wait until my kids are adults to start, living my life. So that was something that was really, really hard for me to do. But when I got it, I was like, okay, like, I love y'all. I really love y'all. Like, I just want y'all to know, but I do need some time for myself. And that is a conversation that I had to have with my oldest son. Because he like, why you gotta go? I don't want you to go. Like, why you can't just stay at home with us? He'll try to make me feel guilty now. And if I let him, it'll work. But I did have to tell him, like, I love y'all. I take care of y'all all week long. I'm basically a chauffeur for you, taking you back and forth. Like, I do need a day or two for myself because if I don't, then I can't keep going. Eventually, I'm gonna burn out.
That's a big area of opportunity for me, making time for myself. And I feel like since I have had Lennox, I don't know who I am outside of
Mm.
mama and a wife. And I've really been trying to dig deep, right? To like kind of understand. I'm like, is it because I was pregnant in the pandemic, right? And so like we were at home all the time. And so like we couldn't go out. And so like,
Oh,
you just at home, right? You're doing whatever needs to be. You always with your kids and your husband.
yeah.
And so when it's really Lennox, whenever he leaves and I don't have like anything planned to do, I'm always like, well, what am I gonna do? Right? Like when he's gone. And I shouldn't be feeling that way, right? Because you need to go. Like you need to go somewhere. I need a break, right? But at the same time, I struggle really bad with him leaving. Lennox Cross. I struggle so bad when he leaves. Y'all,
It's a,
an
it's a
example.
thing. It is. It's a thing. It really
Yeah,
is.
it's gonna be bad. And I've been trying, and I'll say like, oh, like I said at the beginning of the year, oh, I'm gonna be outside, I'm gonna be out, new experiences, new this, new that. I ain't been nowhere, okay? Uh, but I have not been nowhere.
Oh my
Okay?
good.
So it's just really, and it's something I'm still trying to figure out, right? And one of the things too, like I just said this to the Lord, Mother's Day weekend. I said, Lord, I said, when it comes to my children, one, I didn't have to share Jordan with anybody, right? He didn't have a family that was on the other side that was interested in him
Mhm.
in that way,
Mhm.
right? I shouldn't say interested. That's the wrong one. He didn't have a family that wanted to get him, spend time with him. Like that just wasn't a thing, right? So he was always around, or like he was with my parents, and then I lived with my
Mm.
parents, right? So like it wasn't a thing. But it's different now with Lennox, right? And so I was saying to the Lord, like, Lord, these children are a gift. You bless them with me, right? I'm responsible for them while they're here on earth, but they are
Mm.
yours, right? So it's like, have I not surrendered, right, my children back to you? Have I not given them back to you? And I'm
Right.
allowing them to maybe, and I hate to say this because I feel like it could sound bad, right? Maybe take up too much space, right? Because am I leaving space, enough space for God, my time with Him? Am I leaving enough space for me to care for me? Am I leaving enough space to care for my husband, for my marriage? Because, like you said, at some point they are going to leave, right? Like
Mhm.
Jordan is about to be 17. He growing up just as fast, right? Like it's
Mhm.
going to happen. So I need to make sure that I continue to. Okay. I need to make sure that I know who I am outside of that.
That's important. It really is important. Like it's hard. Like it's hard to balance it because you don't want to feel like you're neglecting your children.
Right,
Like and then for you, like you said, you have wife and mom. Then you got to try to figure out. Okay, well, I still got Tracy.
right.
So that finding the balance that is it's a difficult task. And I don't really I don't really know if people ever, and I hate to say this, but I don't know if women really ever find the balance. Like I feel like there is always still some guilt that a mother holds, like maybe I could have been there more, or maybe I could have done more. Maybe, I didn't take them to enough places. Maybe I didn't spend enough time with them. I feel like that's something that even older mothers still deal with.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I really feel like they do.
yeah,
But I don't know. It's just it's one motherhood is so it's such like it's such a broad spectrum, like so many different hats up under the umbrella. It's
yeah.
a lot.
It
Like
is.
not
Because you gotta
to
parent your kids differently too, right? Like they're not the
yeah,
same. And then like with us having these
yeah,
big age gaps in our children, what the teenager dealing with, the little one not dealing with. So it's a constant
right.
shifting of the hats, right? Okay, like I'm not talking to a 2-year-old, I'm talking to a 16-year-old.
Exactly,
So this, like,
exactly.
where does that go? So yeah, I think motherhood, I mean, is beautiful. It's challenging. It's a lot of
Mhm.
sacrifice. But I'm very thankful to be a mom. And so,
Yeah,
Cora, as we as we are wrapping up, what is one thing that, well, it's a two in one question. What is one thing that you want your kids to remember about you? And what's something that you're trying to instill in your children?
I want them to remember that I tried my best. Like I want them to know that a lot of times people say I'm giving my all. Okay, you can give your all, but are you giving your best? Like I want them to know that I gave my best when it came to them. That I made sacrifices when it came to them, that I wanted them to have the best life possible. And one of the things that I want to instill in them is that you can go to God when you can't go to anybody else. If you can't come to me, you can't go to your grandma. You can always go to God. Like always rely on Him. Like go to Him first. You know, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. I want them to do that. And it's so funny. On one of the booklet that Rowan brought home for Mother's Day, in the back of it, he said it was what's one thing you love about your mom, and he said she loves God and she loves me. So prayerfully, I'm doing what it is that that I'm supposed to be doing. But I really want them to be big on God, and I want them to be big on God because God was there for me to fight battles for me, battles that nobody else could help me with. So I want them to have that source to go to. I want them to know that they have and to rely on.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, I think I think that what you said should be a goal for most mothers, right? Like our children knowing, right, that we try our best in how we mother them, how we and how we raise them, and that they'll remember that and they'll appreciate that as they age and then as they become parents too,
Hmm.
that they'll keep that at the forefront of their mind. So we are wrapping up this video. So y'all, we hope that y'all enjoyed this for sure. Again, it's a collaboration. Me and Corey are going to be talking to other women and just sharing their stories of how they are navigating motherhood and the different phases of that. So we hope that you all are blessed by not only this video, but all of the videos to follow. And Corka, you want to add anything to like um, what's next or anything that I missed about what's next or just reiterate kind of why we're doing this? I just don't want to miss anything.
No, I think you covered everything. Like you said, like we are trying to shed some light on motherhood, and we want women to be able to learn from each other. You can always learn from somebody else. So y'all just stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got some people coming up that you may be able to learn something from. That's it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Share this video with someone else. I'm sure it will be a blessing to them. Thank you, Corka, my partner
You
on
try.
the journey. I appreciate it. And be on the lookout for the next video.